Greetings, everybody. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Yeah. Oh, wait. I had more tabs opening on the side. All right. Yeah. Greetings, everybody. Yeah. Welcome to the Alexander Ganja Shaman channel. My name is Alexander, and yeah, today I have a special guest for the second time, Rock Cloud, who is a super soldier, also assists the Galactic Council, also does mission for the Galactic Council, remote viewer, and also part of the White Hat group. It's an honor to have you here. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, Alexander. It's an honor to be here with you for the second time. I always enjoy speaking with you and your audience.
No, thank you. No, it's my honor to have you here. And yeah, it was awesome last time. You shared a lot of information. And yeah, so the people today we had like a bit interference, but it's all good. And blessings everybody in the chat. Jeremy, Scotty Boy, Andres, missing time. Blessings everybody. Um, yeah. So yeah, since the last time we talked, there's a lot of things that happened, with Iran, Venezuela. And we're gonna get also in with Iran because there's a lot of information there too. But let's start with your journey with the White Hats. How did the journey actually start?
Yeah, so, when we incarnate into this particular earth realm, we have to go into this state of forgetfulness. So, and that's part of the rules here within this matrix system. You have to be born as a human and then, you know, grow up and learn certain things. Um, you forget about your contracts that you have, whether they be positive contracts or negative contracts. Most of my contracts were split. I had some contracts dealing with angel beings from other realms, and then I had then it came down to like the ET side with these galactic councils, and they were more or less positive. But on the other side, I had to deal with learning the dark side as well. We're talking about the Illuminatis, the Cabal, serpent beings, both positive and negative grades from different timelines and from different dimensions. Uh, but at the age of 3, to speed things up, at the age of 3 is where I got the galactic implants. That was one that I showed on top of my head. Now this is very visible, and that was from the federations, the same council that I'm a council member of. They want to keep track of this particular body. They always know where the soul is at because my soul, it leaves the body um, on its own sometimes. I can be here right now and I'll leave just a part of my consciousness, but my soul can project outside and meet on board craft. And, I'll get debriefed by council members on a ship uh, millions of miles away. But the implant that is connected to this body, whether I am taking, I can be tracked in the physical and in the non-physical, meaning I can be in another realm, I can be in another time, I can be in the astral realm, and I can be tracked energetically with this implant. So at the age of 3, that implant was placed in there just to be tracked. So, but I was also at the age of 3 approached by white hats. Now, the white hats are also council members that had to do the same thing that I did, incarnate into a human form and then start to help humanity from the inside. That way, we didn't break laws of interference. A lot of people here, even yourself, is having to do the same thing, but you could be like from other realms, angel realms, that had to, incarnate into human form and then begin to work. Like, I don't know most of your missions. That part that I did tell you about yourself off camera, you pretty much resonated with that. So now you know a little bit more about your mission. But yeah, so the military side also approached me at the age of 3. They talked to my higher self, and I was pretty much giving a choice to either work with the white hats or work with the black hats. I did a split. And I began to learn from both. Now, this was I was too young to make that conscious decision. So my higher self, which is essentially me, made that decision, to do a split. And that's when I began to go into like more of the Montauk projects. That was all me in agreements to learn and go through trauma to experience it from the inside. And that's what essentially white hats do. Whether we're in ET form or in angel form, we go into the dark, learn all of their methods, and then report back to the white hat. So that's how we pass information from light to dark, from dark to light.
Okay. Okay. You said you were approached. They approached your higher self from when you was 3, and you went into few programs. Was the MyLab one of them, or on which age you went to the MyLab? You were part of the MyLab too, right? Experiment.
Absolutely. And those will be like the more psychic programs. Now they test, that was many beings. Some of the beings went into, let's just talk about the Greys. So the Greys wanted to understand more about human genetics and human emotions. So they did experimentations on these what we consider trauma type programs, just to test the human elements, seeing if they can break the mind and then compartmentalize it. But the military, now deep state military, they were pretty much showing the deep state military how these projects were done. But also the Greys also had side agendas with this as well. They needed to know, they needed to study human emotions. They actually wanted to kind of bottle these emotions in a black cube and study it for later. Now, these particular black cubes, they can modify, and it's almost like AI. This cube can learn and begin to act upon, and this is what our computer chips are essentially are made of as well. Human emotions that can fire rapidly and respond based upon certain keys that we put into ourselves. It's just like if you take a punch from somebody, that shit is gonna hurt. So they want to study human pain, human suffering, and then try to create and modify. Uh, this is kind of hard to explain to put it in like human um, understanding because the grays do not have human understanding, and that's one of the reasons why they are studying these types of human emotions. But to try to put this in lame terms for a human, it's almost impossible. So hopefully you guys can understand where I'm coming from. The Greys are pretty much biological robots, and they are trying to get back from being biological to being more human. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what they're doing.
Okay. And I know you have different sort of grays too, the different height, length. Some of them could be reptilian, look reptilian, or they're more reptilian genetics. And the ones you mentioned with the grays, they're more common here. Yeah, what I understand, they work for the Dracos actually. They're
Yeah.
biological robot basically, the small ones. But do you have the ones that are 6 feet tall too? Are those also biological robots?
Some of them are, but most of the tall grays are they have souls, but they are more or less dark, and you can feel that energy coming off of it. Just like when you're in the presence of a reptilian, you feel this intense darkness around you. They don't even have to speak to you. You will just feel that energy. Now, the same thing goes for certain grays as well. Grays, when you're in the presence of most of these tall grays, depending on if they are positive, there are some tall grays that are positive, and even some of the negative ones, they do have souls, um, but they are essentially dark souls. Um, but yeah, you can feel. You just have to be in the presence, understand vibration, and then your soul will give you indication of what you're dealing with on an energetic level.
Okay. Yeah, everything is frequency, vibration, energy. So that would be, for example, you have the Nordics too that look human, but there's few of them that are on the dark side. So they look all, yeah, nice and things, but their energy is negative. They have their own agenda against the humanity. So have you encountered also Nordics that are working for the Cabal, for example?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, I met several of these Nordics. Now, a lot of people would think that these are Pleiadians, but the Pleiadians that I know, they wear the blue suits, and they are essentially very spiritual beings. They are positive beings. Uh, these particular ones, I did a mission for the Galactic Council, and my mission was to go and protect two toddlers. These were little black kids. They were toddlers. The Greys were going to abduct them, and they did not have a soul contract to do this. So I popped into these toddlers' home, and they were already being mind controlled by the Greys. They were already coming out of the bedroom and making their way down the steps, and this was at nighttime. Uh, and they were going to be making their way outside the door. So when I popped in, there was one already on the steps, getting ready to go down. I grabbed him, and once I got to the top of the steps, I grabbed this other. They look almost identical, like they were twins. And if they were not twins, they were very similar in age. Um, so When I grabbed them, I took them back up to their bedrooms and I locked the door. Uh, I knew psychically that their parents were in the next bedroom, and we don't bother the parents. A lot of times the parents don't even know what's going on, and 9 times out of 10, the Grays have already got them in a deep trance to not wake up. So I got the two little black kids in their bedroom, and by this time the Grays were already at their door. They were knocking on the door, and I didn't let them in. So psychically, I was drawn to the window. And then I saw these Grays. Now, one of the Grays had a red suit on, all skin tight red suit. That was the leader, and the other 2 Grays, they had on like blue suits. Well, the leader was at the balcony window, and he was, trying to project into my mind like he was one of the kids. And this is why I tell people that these particular Grays, they don't have souls, and they cannot read in between the lines. They are straightforward, They can't, like, we'll know if we're being deceived or not. On a psychic level, we'll know it. So he tried to project into my mind like he was a toddler, and he wanted me to let him in through the window. He wanted me to go over to the window, open it up, and let him in, which I did not. What I did do is psychically start knocking them off the balcony. I didn't hurt them. But once they hit the ground, they pretty much left. So 3 days later, that's when the Nordics showed up. These particular Nordics, these are the Luciferians. These are the pretty much the Atlanteans. And they control NASA. They run NASA. They own NASA. So I'm going to tell you what they did. They came, my mind represented a door. On a psychic level, like when you're extremely psychic and you don't want to be mind controlled, you can go within yourself and then shut everything else off and lock everything else out. So that's what I did. So I went inside and I psychically locked everything up. Like they couldn't get in to me psychically. They couldn't control me. So my mind represented a door, and they saw this. So they knocked on this door, which was my mind. And they said as they knocked that they wasn't going to hurt me. And I never mind that, but this voice came from inside of me. This voice came from inside of me, and it was like, let them in. It was a very deep voice. And so I let them in. I let them into my mind. Now, when they went into my mind represented this room. In one of the rooms, consider it like a motel room. In one of the rooms, there was this old TV, like back in the 60s, and it was black and white, and then it was all fizzed up like it was out of station. And I looked at the TV. So these Nordics, they had on, it was either 3 or 4 of them. 1 female and 3 males. One of the males was the leader. They had long blonde hair. They were very structured, like military, very military minded. So they came in, and one of them stepped over there by the door of the TV, and they was in a stance. Each of them had their own military stance, and they looked damn near identical. But the one female, you could tell she was female. So the leader. Now I'm gonna tell you straight up, man. Now you would think that they look like Trump. Uh, Orange type hair, you know, the same color in his face as well. Now they was not pale. They look damn like orange in the face, man. Um, like they were tanned or something. But they had on skin tight bodysuits, and it was all red, and it had like gold trim. Do you see this trim on my sleeve?
Yeah.
Well, consider this line going down all gold, little thin gold strips going down, and on their chest where the heart is at, think of the Star Trek symbol, but turn it the opposite way. Turn it the opposite way, and it was shaped a little bit longer than that. That's their symbol. And it's almost like the Space Force type symbol. So the one leader, he came up to me and he took this needle out. And he placed that. He gave me like a vaccine type shot. And this voice, when he did that, this voice spoke from me, "It won't work." Now, I don't know. I feel like that was either an alter or a higher self, a past life that was speaking through me. And it could have been one of my dragon forms, because in past lives, I've been dragons, and that type of authority coming from me, that's what it felt like. It felt like it was like one of my dragon forms speaking through me, or an elemental form. So I did get sick for 3 days. I got sick, but I got well. What they were trying to do, what these Luciferians were trying to do, they were trying to turn off my psychic abilities. And the being that spoke from me, through me to them, was right. It didn't work. I became even more psychic, believe it or not. I only got sick for a few days. But the reason why these bastards did that is because I went there on behalf of the Galactic Council to stop an abduction from happening. Those two toddlers, the Greys were going to take them. And what we got, they were going to go into like a 20 and back program for these particular Luciferians, for NASA, to work in a Nazi type of a program, maybe a slave type program, maybe some of the things that I was doing in a past life when I worked with the Nazis, when I was a Black female, grew up into working for the Nazis, and we were doing human trafficking off planet. We would take humans off this planet, take them to Mars, into underground facilities where they would be processed. So
And
yeah,
that was in another reality,
yeah. Well, this was a past life.
a past life.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
So
So
I got
yeah.
killed. Yeah, they killed me. When I was that Black female, I got tired, Alexander, because we would take humans, children, men and women, off this planet into these shipping containers, these metal shipping containers, the same shipping containers that you see that go into international waters and bring goods from other countries over here. Those same metal shipping containers we would use like Nazi crafts, and take those huge containers onto Mars and place them there and take humans out of that container. And I just got tired, man. I got tired, and I tried to escape. I tried to escape, and this one Nazi female, she was on this clear pad, this almost like a iPad, but it's clear. It's made out of crystal. You can see through it. It's like a clear pad. You can see right through it. It's technology. I don't know how she saw me, to be honest, because I was hiding behind one of those shipping containers. I was hiding behind it, and when she came up from out of the underground base, she was looking at the clear pad, and I think she tracked me from that clear pad. Maybe I had implants, but when she looked up from that clear pad, she looked directly at me. And I know she wasn't psychic. This was a human. This was a female human. Uh, just like much of us that's in these programs uh, that have been working for the cabal at certain points. We go into these programs and have to work with 20 and backs for the Nazis.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people don't know about that. The Nazi were they just continue their work. They move it to Antarctica. They weren't defeated. They was just relocated, and yeah, they form a group with the reptilians Draco, Dark Fleet. I heard they have a base on Mars, on the Moon, and other planets too. They have colonized basically.
Yes.
How is it now with the Dark Fleet? Is the Earth Alliance and the Galactic Council are there fighting with the Dark Fleet? Is there a war going on against them too?
Yes. There's and we can get into the Iran type situation because that is the cabal trying to make their last stance with trying to secure the stargates. And of course, there are many Trumps out there, and you know the ones right now. So these Trumps are not working with the white hats. We stepped away from Trump, and it was kind of so. The last time I met with Trump, this was many months ago, way before the Epstein stuff came out, almost a year now, where I met with him, and he gave me indication that he was going to be going away. And the mission was to protect the stargates. So I don't know what happened to him, but I know all of these other Trumps. I started calling those out. This was way before ICE came out. This was way before he started, showing signs of all of these clones and stuff. So I knew what was going on, and I started calling him out. He's that Dark Fleet was in the White House. These Nazis started showing signs, and a lot of people, just because of what he was doing in the past for the white hats, all of that shit went away. Okay, all of that went away, and people need to wake up. You're dealing with the Anunnaki that can pull other versions of ourselves that are like Trump. I'm gonna just tell you. So before Trump went away, the Anunnaki went into another timeline where this particular Trump was going for the Luciferian agenda. They used that Luciferian to bring about all of this chaos and confusion and destruction with ICE. So ICE is a Nazi organization. They are Nazis. And most of these, why they wear the mask is because these are reptilians. They are Luciferians. When they become agitated, when they become excited, they can shapeshift. You're talking about a lot of shapeshifting. Now, some of them are just sellout humans that are having to go to do the same thing that these shapeshifters can do. But most of these shapeshifters, because of what they are and their genetics, the reptilians become agitated with our sunlight. They can't stand our sun. A full-blooded reptilian would die if he is in our sunlight too long. So will the grays as well. If they're out in the sunlight too long because of the frequency that it gives off, because these particular reptilians and grays, they're parasitic, and sunlight, we know, can kill parasites just off of the light frequency, just off of the heat. It can kill parasites, and it's the same thing with the reptilians. It's the same thing with these grays, because they feed off of negative energy, and the sun is more or less, it gives life, it gives off positive energy, it gives off nutrition. They don't like that. They can't stand it. They are essentially vampires.
Okay. Um, yeah. Yeah. A lot of them, what I understand, seems with the negative entities, they do can handle the sunlight. Oh yeah, what you mentioned about with the section, the eyes, could it be that you have like different section it? You have a good section and one that's fully infiltrated. Same with the military in US. You have the ones that's completely controlled by the cabal, and you have some good group, good people there that's actually working for the people, and they are the ones working against it.
Yeah. So what the white hat started doing is what we always do. We go into these organizations as um, military intelligence operatives, and I've done this as well when it comes to celebrity parties. I know how to infiltrate, get in, mingle, and we take in high tech equipment. Now, some of the equipment that we have now, they're like cloaked. You can't see them. I mean, it blends in with our skin. Some of them are almost like implants, but they can, the military can see through like my eyes. They can hear through my ears. But yeah, we get into like organization now. ICE has always been like it's always been a Nazi organization. Like when paperclip boys came over, they started creating businesses, organizations, uh, but they have like 100-year plan. You know, that's how they think. You know, they know that it's going to take a while to take over a human society. So it was the reptilians that gave them this idea of immigration and all of this other stuff, separation, to divide the humans, to give them this mentality of division. When we were created, the planet is our home. There should not be any type of division, but mentally, that's how they've been doing these psyops, psychological warfares for thousands of years, creating divisions um, by having Democrats and Republicans and separating the land from the people. Once you separate the land from the people, you separate their minds on the individual level. So the Nazis, their mission was to create a organization where they can pretty much covertly tag and monitor humans. And what I mean by tag, we're talking about not only tracking the genetics, they were doing the same thing that the Greys would do when Greys would come in and see a baby in the crib and monitor and track the baby, do experiments. So the Greys would take the babies on board crabs and do like how a doctor would do. They will give like an exam. So immigration does the same thing, but they do it in a way where, you know, humans don't understand it. They track you, they monitor you. Um, that way they know where to get you if they need you. Like they also track our blood. So, and everything on this planet is based off of blood, okay? Off our genetics, because these beings out there, they love genetics. They love the human genetics. Um, but we'll get into some other things later, you know, off camera about what Iran is doing over there with human genetics. Um,
Okay. Yeah, no, I heard with Iran, well, that's the thing, it's the same with Venezuela because you have a lot of Venezuelan that came to Aruba for food. They was happening a long time. That country went to shit. And the people there were celebrating when Trump took Maduro out because he was like a dictator. The country already is rock bottom. The people eating rats there on the street because there's no food, Um, and also, I know in Africa you have problems there with Christians and Islam in Nigeria. Well, there's in more countries there, and the military was sent there, and the people were happy. They self asked for Trump to interfere. And then you have now with Iran, with the dictatorship, the Ayatollah group. There's in 3 weeks they kill their own people there. They kill about 30 to 40,000 people there, and there's a lot of things happening there against their own people with the ruling party there. And last I know, they were trying to blame the U.S. government with the missile that hit a school there, but the information came out that the missile there was of their own regime that misfired and went through and landed on the school. I saw also there they put their they all use the same tactic. They put their machines and radar system near a school for them not to attack. So if they attack, they are like, oh yeah, you're shooting at the children's school. They put it there expressively. But the one that did hit the school was not the U.S. Was a missile misfire of them hitting their own school, and they blame that on Israel and Trump. But there, what I understand as more with wars, there's multiple reasons, not one. Like for example, the one in Vietnam, I heard there was spider beings there that invaded, and they were also um, mind controlling the people and basically making them weak psychologically, and then eating them basically. And but the one now in Iran, what I understand, there's a Stargate there,
yeah,
number 10, coincidentally 10, because this year also adds to 10, 2026, add the numbers up, it's 10. 10 also represent new beginning. Um, and what I understand is few more portals there that apparently the draconian was almost, or they were trying to use to come out. So what I wanted to check is if what you heard about maybe the Stargate there, and if it's there's something they try to come out, and is that the part that they want to, because the people there are pro to get rid of the regime and go back to their original, which is Zoroastrian, which there's a lot of spiritual awakening happened there too in Iran. They close about 20,000 mosques, and there's a lot of people are converting to Christianity and also having vision of seeing Jesus in their dream. So there's a spiritual awakening happening there too. Yeah, but with wars, there's multiple reasons, and the Stargate is something that a lot of people don't know about. What's your knowledge on Stargate in Iran or Persia?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stargates within that area, not just one, um, but these stargates can lead to many different gates, many different ways off the planet, and they hold tremendous power. Um, so that's what we're essentially fighting over right now. There are Anunnakis there. There are still giants. The stargates can lead to many planets where, if you get to these planets, um, you know, there are many different resources that the U.S. and other places want. So they have deals. They have interest in protecting these stargates. Uh, Most of these stargates, when you go into them, you'll go into with the right codes. If you know the codes, and most of the United States, they know these codes because they are given to them by the either the Nordics, these Aryans give them these Stargate codes, or the reptilians. They all have these codes that lead to different places. But if you get inside and go to these other planets, then not only do you get to go to get precious mineral, gold, um, I mean, just all types of stuff. I mean, there's all types of resources on these other planets that lead you to going into these stargates and going there. But that's the whole mission that we were given, like protect the stargates, and that's what's going on right now. You got white hats and black hats that are fighting over these stargates.
Okay. Yeah, I would imagine. I heard there's about 12 stargates around the planet, maybe 13.
That's a
The
little bit
they,
more because that's a little bit more because there's many of them that's underwater. So
mm.
yeah, in specific areas in international water and the Bermuda Triangle, that's a huge stargate right there.
Oh yeah, the Bermuda Triangle. What a few years ago, I think it was a European researcher went with a sonar in the Bermuda Triangle, and they discovered a pyramid form structure made
Hmm.
out of crystal. I think three of them. It was three pyramids made out of crystal, big, in directly in the Bermuda Triangle. And I'm pretty sure those are giving off energy, maybe part of Atlantis. So no, yeah. And there's another story that the guy I think was traveling from Bahamas to Florida, and he went through a cloud that was in like a tunnel form, and he
Yep.
went through it, and then came out, and he was in Florida, and he measured it by the fuel that he used much less that he should have used at that distance. So he
Hmm.
concluded he went through a wormhole, yeah, time travel, you can say wormhole. So no, that area, yeah, there's very active there in that area. And how you say, oh yeah, what can you share about time travel?
Yeah, well, this is what we were doing pretty much at the Montauk when we were children. So they will put us in this chair, and they needed psychic children to do this. So I'll tell you about as we got older. You know about the Montauk experiments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the kids that did survive, like myself and many others, um, what we would do once we got older, we would join white hat military and time travel back into the past when we were children, and then begin to mess up a lot of their experiments. Once these Nazis found out what we were doing, because it took them a while to catch on to what we were doing. Once they found out that certain children, they were trying to find out which children were time traveling back as they got older, and then they will kill them. They will kill certain kids that they suspected of time traveling into the past from the future to mess up their experiments. We were doing so much of this off and on that a lot of things were like causing problems within the base. Um, and they just could not figure out what it was coming from. Like a lot of their genetic experiments, we will go and kind of fuck that stuff up, throw monkey wrenches into all their plans. And even their time travel experiments, we would mess it up. We will make it so hard for them to master time travel back then for those dark missions, that they eventually just abandoned that base. But then, they kept everything so compartmentalized. But they started doing other things as well. So the time travel that Dark Fleet at that time, the Paperclip Boys were doing, they did perfect in other programs. But yeah, that's most of the stuff that we would do as white hats, and then we would go off planet into other programs as well. And of course, we've always used, after we mastered our time travel, we would use it quite frequently. We would jump into other timelines and pass messages to specific people to keep humanity on a positive timeline. I can tell you about this one mission. So we call it jumping timelines, and that's basically what we would do. But it's still time travel. So I went into this timeline to meet this specific person in a bathroom. Now, we do this quite frequently. We have specific people, and other times we have them in the past, we have them in the present, and then we have them in the future as well. So this guy knew what time to meet me there, in a public place, to pass a specific message. So once I passed this message to him, now he was in one stall and I was in the other, this urinal right next to him. So we're pretending to use the bathroom. So I pass him the message. He walk out. Now, the black hats, these Illuminatis, they know how to track us too. They use the same methods that we use. It's more or less espionage spying, psychic spying. That's what I'm good at. I can get into places and get information, and I can get out. I did the same thing with Elon Musk, and that's how I knew about this kill switch that he was going to be using with smart dust. But to get back to this particular mission, once that guy I passed the message to, walked out of the bathroom. This young kid came in. Now he came in, and you can tell mind control. Okay, you can tell when somebody's been MK Ultra to do something. They will have this blank look on their face, and that's what this young boy did. He looked like he was maybe 19, 20 to 21 years old, young kid. So he came in and he walked up to me and stared me directly into the eyes. So, and that brought me psychically linked to him. He knew exactly what to do because he was programmed to do it. So when he did that, our minds locked, psychically locked to each other. And we started battling each other in the minds. After our minds locked, then we put our hands up like this and we locked them together. We held them tight together as we staring into each other's eyes. Now, I did not want to hurt this kid. I did not. So that made me weak. It made me psychically weak because I had more empathy and compassion for him. This guy was programmed not to have any of that stuff. So he was a little bit more stronger than me. If I had stayed in that lock with him, he probably would have killed me. Okay? It wasn't that he was stronger than me, more better than me. It's because he was programmed to not have any emotions. His job was to eliminate me. So, and I didn't want to hurt him. Didn't want to hurt him. So I jumped. I jumped like that from that timeline back here. If I stayed that way, I would have had to kill him. I would have had to eliminate that kid. And regardless whether I was going to fight for my life or not, I would have got karma. And karma keeps me here, meaning that I would have probably had to stay another incarnation of life to pay for eliminating him, which I did not want to do. So I just jumped. I jumped back up here because my mission was done. You know, I passed the message to the guy. I did my job for the military intelligence community, and no one got hurt. So it was a win-win for me.
Okay. Yeah. And that was one mission of the you can say under the White Hat or the
Yeah,
Galactic Council. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And
This is the Navy Alliance. Now, look, before I start saying this, you guys are going to start hearing about the Navy stepping away from this Trump. This is not the real Trump, okay? And the ones that we consider the real Trump, even he's not. Yeah, these Trumps have been replaced. They're not. They're not. These other Trumps, they're much shorter than the 6'3" Trump. The one that I met with was 6'3". These other guys are like 5'8", 5'10". So significantly shorter than the ones that we used to work with. But you're gonna start hearing that the Navy stepped away from. They're not taking orders from this Trump. They're not taking orders from him, and you will start to hear about this, just like you hearing about the Epstein files. I can get into some of that if you are like.
yeah, you can go into it. I know the Epstein files that confirm a lot of things that the conspiracy theorist people already knew. I know it goes beyond that. That's just the tip of the iceberg, with the ritual, but it goes as far with the hunting parties that they're having, and also the shoes, the red shoes that certain group of elite also wear, all those dark shit. But yeah, no, what do you want to share about the Epstein files?
Yeah, Epstein. Let me just state that Epstein is reptilian. Now, I knew that he was reptilian before the female started talking about him shapeshifting in front of her. You know, most of these elites, they are reptilians. You don't get to be an elite without being a reptilian or having a reptilian overshadow you. Reptilians can overshadow you. They can also overtake you. They can genetically modify you. Um, they are masters at genetics. So let's just state that. But they have dark agendas here. Um, so a lot of the pedophiles you're going to see, they have what we call real lizards in them. You'll see some of the elites get the black eye.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to add. That was something I wanted to ask you also about. Yeah, the black eye or the left eye, apparently a real, uh, I would say, parasite that they put through a ritual through the eye, and it take control of the body. Basically, they're not themselves
Yeah.
anymore.
And
Yeah.
I've shown this. I don't know if you watch my videos, but I've shown what this parasite looked like on a I've shown it on a microscopic level, and I've shown it where you can actually see it look like it looked almost like a serpent. But it has like the tip of the head look almost like a mushroom type. It has two eyes. It hasn't fully grown yet. Once this particular parasite grows in you, it takes over. You know, it knows your thoughts. Um, your soul cannot stay with this particular parasite. It will leave. But once the soul leave the body, this parasite, it remembers most of your life. You know, it has your memories because of your brain is still there and it has memory there, so it taps into that. But most of these elites get this parasite because they have contracts with the reptilians for fame, fortune. They are bloodline families, and the reason why the reptilians do this because they want everybody on the same page as them. This reptilian real lizard, they not only mimic the humans, but they carry like a hive mind mentality. So they know what each reptilian is thinking. So if one reptilian is um, becoming more loving or compassionate, they will know that. They will know its thoughts. They will know how each other is operating or malfunctioning. So, and then they will be replaced with a clone. So, and that's what happened with Joe Biden. A lot of people know that Joe Biden has been dead for a long time, but they replaced him with clones. The same thing with Trump. There's many versions of Trump, and Trump does have this parasitic entity inside of him.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, and the people then that has the parasitic in them that they are fully on there directly control with the Draco reptilians or the
Yes.
Luciferians.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Huh. Let me
Now
see.
Epstein.
Mm.
Now a lot of the stuff that's going into like the Epstein files. So
Oh yeah.
the reason why they don't want now people have to understand the game that is being played. Um, Trump did not want this out. Neither did the Democrats, because this particular Trump is in the Epstein files. He is in the Epstein files. He's saying once they realize the Republicans and the Democrats, once they realized that they could not control that information, that it was coming from an outside force. Now, people know that, yes, it's coming from the white hats, but I told you in the beginning, I gave you indication that some of the white hats are what? They're off planet, they're galactic councils. So they can't stop this particular information that is coming out from, because it's from an outside source. It's not here on the planet, but it's being filtered into the planet from many different people that do white hat work, like myself. It's the same type of work when I told you how we infiltrate like celebrity parties. I've been in celebrity parties where I'll get in, I'll mingle, and I'll gather intel. And this one mission, this was years ago, I entered one of the celebrity parties. So I saw a lot of up and coming YouTubers that have sold their souls for fame and fortune. I saw up and coming music artists, rap artists, actors, all new people that have signed on with the Illuminatis, and they were all in all white celebrity. It was an all white party, and I had surveillance equipment. Now you can't see this equipment. I've talked about this. You can't see this, and I'm acting like I'm supposed to be there. So I have my glass of wine, and I'm out in this wooded area, and people are talking and having a good time. And I'm seeing porn stars, young girls that are porn stars that are there from the ages of 16 years old and up. So I'm talking to codename Superman, and this is the white hat military on my surveillance equipment, and I'm letting him know, what's going on. So this very pale, tall white guy come up to me. He's blonde hair, blue eyes, very tall, but he has freckles too now. So he come up to me and he says, "Why is Superman here?" He leaned over to me. He said, "Why is Superman here?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" I try to play it off. And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he just looked at me and smiled. He says nothing else. And what I found that this guy was a Nordic, and he was psychic, which I did not anticipate being at this celebrity party. So I learned a little more about what goes on. And the same thing happened. I don't know if you saw Trump and Epstein in one of the earlier pictures, and this tall, very tall guy, blonde hair, very tall. Well, that tall guy, I'm gonna send you a picture of this. So it was Trump, Epstein, and they were talking to one of the girls, the young girls there. They had a picture of her. Now that particular tall guy, he's not from here. He's a Nordic. Damn near. He looked almost like a fucking giant compared to us. Very tall, about the same height as a basketball player. But he's a Nordic. He's not from here. And what he is there for, he is there to monitor the females, because some of these females, they go off planet. They go off planet and they go into like like sex, um, they go into prostitution off planet, and he picks them. So you got Epstein with this long ass smile on his face, almost shape shifting. But people don't get it. I don't know if you've seen this picture on his wall, and this picture got this wide smile on the face.
Oh no,
Have
I
you
haven't
seen?
seen it. No.
Okay, I'll see if I can locate that and send that to you. But that is it's a reptilian, um, demonic, very demonic being. But Epstein carries that face. That was actually Epstein in a stage one transformation. Uh, but this particular Nordic, they go and they inspect females because uh, if you are fit for the sex slavery, or you could be fit to do like uh, navigate the ship. He will monitor your talents. Females have different talents. They have different goals. They can do different things, but he will assess all of that stuff. But yeah, he's a Nordic. He's a German um, area Nazi, and he is not from this particular. He's from a breakaway colony.
So the Nordic there in the picture, and Epstein is not human; he's a reptilian. As there's witnesses seeing him shapeshift, so it goes deeper than that. That basically Epstein is involved also with intergalactic slave trade. Basically, it goes that.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. That's what they're hiding because it's in the files. So
Mm,
we're gonna try. They've been blocking. They have all of this information, but they are redacting it. So there's other teams here that work with the white hats, and they're very talented at taking those redacted emails and unredacting them. So and then it gets filtered out to certain people to get that information to you guys, and that is coming. That information is coming, but they really want to suppress the reptilian slave colonies off planet, and that these Nazis are tied to it. And you're going to find out that ICE is experimenting on these people in these facilities, in these detention camps, and FEMA is also a part of it.
prima. Okay.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, with that, so it would come down to okay that Dark Fleet they're still active, and and part of them are reptilians, so they're also involved with the Adrenochrome network. I heard the
yes,
Adrenochrome network, so that is also they use it outside of this planet. They
hmm
challenge. Okay? Um, I heard that there's that the adrenochrome network is being disturbed and there's still underground battle happening in the caverns with the reptilians, Draco reptilians, and I heard there's also another being, the raptors. They're telepathic. The queen had a vision that if they don't align with the humans, they don't stand a chance. And what I understand, they're also helping the humans fighting against the underground battles. I got that information from Captain Mark Richards. He's in
yeah,
prison. He also has contact with other beings. And also, there's a lot of people, they mentioned the white hats, the black hats. But I heard there's also another section, which is the rat hats. Those are more brutal, what I understand. they just want to go in and eliminate the person, but they're more on a whole. Let me put it that way. But they want to go and just eliminate all the people basically, but they're not really allowed to do that. What can you tell about the red hats?
I don't have a lot of information on the red hats, but I do know there is a thin line. There is a group out there that that incarnated um, to be like the middleman, um, work for the light, but they are essentially um, they have to do dark things um, to make some good things come about. This is essentially what Trump wanted me to do in the beginning before he stepped out of the, went away. Um, but I could not because my time here, I'm not going to incarnate anymore. So I had to turn him down on that when he was actually working with the White Hats. But this particular group you're talking about, they call them something else. They don't call them the ones that I know. They don't call them the red hats. We call them the gray hats because they're in between, and they do a lot of. They do what you said. They will go in and eliminate. And the reason why they're doing that is because they know that they're coming back for another reincarnational cycle. Uh, and they know this. They will have a short lifespan here with that type of work, but it's necessary, and they are in agreements to do that for to help humanity out, to push us forward. Because you have to, you can't just beat the dark with just light. You can't. Um, you have to go in and eliminate a lot of them, which is needed. You have to eliminate them. So, and that's what these particular groups are doing. They incarnated to do that. And sorry about that. And that's what they are going to do. When it comes to me, I won't do that to a human being, but I can do it for some reason. Source has it set up that I'll only get a little small karma for eliminating a reptilian or a gray or a ET, a negative ET. Uh, Maybe it's because most of them don't have souls, and the ones that do have souls, is very dark. So I don't get a lot of karma for eliminating them, and I have eliminated a lot of those particular type beings.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting to know. Yeah, I would think if when you eliminate like reptilian, for example, or something that's dark and is causing a lot of harm, you eliminate them. Yeah, I wouldn't think you will get big karma for it, you know.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So no, that is good to know. And oh yeah, talking about the negative reptilians, I know this because when I first encountered about them, and what I thought, all of them are bad, all of them are negative. But I do understand that you have some few that are also positive. There's
Yeah,
one that appear to a person and says that, yeah, the ones that are in control are their lost brother and sister. They don't have the light in them. They feed
yeah,
out of negativity, but they lost the light, basically, the connection with source. Yeah. So,
yeah.
have you encountered any positive Dracos or reptilians?
Yeah, there's a lot of positive Dracos. Um, I'll tell you about this particular reptilian. Now, I went to this realm to train. A lot of times when I go into other places, other timelines, other dimensions, there's always some human element there. And I just can't be myself like when I want to train because I use energy, and I want to be able to, you know, go hard. And I can't do that when there's so many humans in many different places. But I went to this one particular place and I found it to be prominent, for training. So when I pop in, it's almost like a realm, much like the astral realm. There is light, but there's no sunlight. Okay, there's almost like if it's in between getting dark. So like almost like the sun is set, but there it's like that all the time, 24 hours. There is no sunlight there, just a little bit of light. So I'm when I pop in, I'm like hovering over this hill, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. I don't see any humans there. So, and I was drawn to like this little well that had water in it. Now, when I looked at this well, I saw that it had like a light source. So it was like a glowing light at the in this well I can see. So something told me to I had a feeling like I wanted to just, use my energy and like shoot a blast out of my hand. So, and I couldn't do it. And I think it was my higher self holding me back, holding this particular conscience back. And at the time, I didn't get why I couldn't use my blast. So when I looked at the well after I couldn't use my blast, I saw this python, this very long python, come up around the well. Then it came up the hill where I was hovering at, and then it shape shifted into a hooded reptilian. Uh, this hooded reptilian, he just looked at me, and it wasn't ego. It wasn't ego. He was emanating. It was just curiosity. So, and then I was drawn to look to the side of me. I saw this white female and her child. They had on all white. They had on like a white dress, and she was swinging. That was her daughter. She was just, laughing and swinging her daughter around, and they were just laughing, having a good time. That was the hooded reptilian wife and child. That was his realm. That was his well. And it was my higher self holding back that blast because it would have been very disrespectful to come in his place and do something like that. At the time, I didn't know. But we telepathically linked to each other. His name was Cain. That was his name, Cain. And I simply told him that I was there to train. So he provided me the training experience. We didn't fight with ego. We fought with, like, you get to know someone on a mutual respect if you fight respectfully, if you fight with honor, you spar them with honor. So I got to know him through training, sparring with him. And I remember us laughing at the end of the session. and I called him my brother after I got to know him through, sparring with him. And after that, I left. But after I got back here, I telepathically linked with him, and I told him, um, if you trust me, then I'll trust you. Um, and we can be brothers from that moment. That was all I left him with. And that's all I wanted to send him, you know. And I didn't need a response back. I just needed him to hear it.
Okay. And okay, and that you build like a connection, friendship, you can say, with that particular reptilian that you encountered that had family and was on with source light and not on the negative.
Yeah. So he's what I consider more positive, but he can go in between because mentally it's all about the experience on a soul level. Like when you are ascended and you want to experience many different things, you would tap into either side just for the learning experience. But he want to keep his family far away from influence. He wants to protect his wife. He wants to protect his daughter. He just wants to provide them with a good life, you know. So he's more positive than negative.
Do you have, because I know on the on this planet, you have different type of reptilians. Some of them that are native to this planet, like they mentioned one in Africa is called Chitahuri. But what I understand, you have also inside of Earth, you have maybe some, yeah, groups of reptilians. The beings in Shambhala or Agartha. Oh, have you seen those beings there? Can you describe them?
Tell me more about them because I don't like when you give me names. A lot of times these are like decoy names, and they don't call themselves that. And there's many different groups. Humans have been given decoy. They have been given decoy names of many different species just for reference. So, and for me to, I go off of sight and vibration and energy. That's how I read you. Um, and that's how they do it. So I do it the same way that these other beings do it. We don't go by names, we go by frequency, we go by vibration. So tell me more about them, and I can see if I can pinpoint which group you're talking about.
That's the thing. The one in they are human looking, and they have light blue skin. That's the one type of bird. And you have other ones that have green too, that are more reptilian based. And then you have the ones in Telos. The city is called Telos in Mount Shasta. But I understand they're the refugees of Lemuria. Before Lemuria went down, they escaped.
Yeah,
They went in that mountain, which is the root chakra of Earth, and they have a city built there, which I heard is also connected to the inner Earth.
yeah. I was just talking to a good friend. His name is Peter, and he has a mission to go there to Mount Shasta. There's a lot of positive beings. There's also humans there, and there's also human white hat military. Um, we have agreements with beings in Mount Shasta. You're going to find a lot of Sasquatch there. They are guardians. Only a few selective human beings with specific genetics that is tied to particular beings within Mount Shasta get invited there. And as I was telling him, yeah, there are some positive reptilians there. If that's what you was getting at, yeah, there are positive reptilians there. There's many different groups here that we would consider negative based off of how they see us as resources. Um, and some of them are negative. Okay, some of them are negative, but the ones in Mount Shasta, there's a military group there, human military group. There are Sasquatch that are guardians there. Uh, there are positive reptilians. Now, when you go in this mountain, pertaining to your genetics will determine what guide you would be presented with. Most people get presented with the Sasquatch. Because they are more human genetic strain, but some of us also will be presented with some of the reptilian, positive reptilians that are there that look more human, and or you would see a Nordic. There are positive Nordics down there, um, half human, half cat, and other species are down there as well. There's many different types of species, but for the most part, you would meet the Sasquatch.
Okay. With the because I had a discussion with the other person, and by his information, with he's saying that the Dogman or the Sasquatch are all demonic entity. They're spiritual beings. They're not physical. But I've encountered information that they are physical, and they're interdimensional. They can shift
Yes.
dimension. Um, with the Sasquatch, could it be that there's different group of Sasquatch, some negative, some positive, or they're all on the same wavelength?
Now, I've gone into the mind of Sasquatch, and some of them are refugees. They are invited here. They are very curious beings. They have a much like how the Indians have a reservation resorts. They too have their section, and they are given guidelines to not go out of their reserve. When they do, the military, because most of the ones that have this section, uh, some of them get curious, and they have implants. They have tags like how you tag a cattle. Well, the military have tagged most of these beings, the Sasquatch, and they get called out. I've seen this done when I enter the mind of a Sasquatch. I can go into it real briefly if you want.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this was maybe a year and a half ago. I linked with a Sasquatch, and I do this. It just happens. I'll leave my body, and I'll end up either in the mind of a human or the mind of a being, or sometimes an animal. But this particular time, I went into the mind of a Sasquatch. Not at first, my mind started projecting, and I went into the mountains. I went into like this ski resort, and in this store, okay, there was a plaza, there was a store, and I went inside this store, and I was just projecting my consciousness and just looking around. And I saw this man and this woman. They were in their shoplifting, and I never minded that. I wasn't interested in that. So I went out of the shop, and then I was drawn to go up into the mountains. My attention, my energy was being drawn to this Sasquatch. So when I went up into the mountain, I saw the Sasquatch, and I entered the mind of the Sasquatch. And when I entered the mind of the Sasquatch, he was looking down at the same plaza I just came from. He was looking down. He was very curious about human population. He was fascinated with all of it. And after that, I can hear helicopters um, coming over. So helicopters pulled up over the Sasquatch. Like I said, they're attacked. They have implants. So the military know all about them. There's a special unit that will go out and track Sasquatch when they go out of the area. They don't do it because they fear that the Sasquatch is going to hurt a human being. They do it because they fear that the Sasquatch is going to be killed. And they are laws. I don't know if you know about, there are certain laws that you go to jail, you get prison time for killing a Sasquatch. So while I'm in the mind of the Sasquatch, I'm looking up, and the thought process of the Sasquatch is, I need to get away. And he's on this slippery slope, and there's ice there, there's ice and snow. And if he make one move wrong, he make one wrong move, he's gonna start tumbling down this fucking slope. Excuse my French. Uh, so the Sasquatch already know what's going on, so he give up. He has no way. By this time, the military guy had already dropped the rope and started to come down, and the military is handing his hand off to the Sasquatch. So the Sasquatch grabbed the military hand, and they go up in the helicopter. They take the Sasquatch back to a military camp, not too far from where he was at. So once the Sasquatch get that, man, everybody know the Sasquatch. They know him. Nobody is in fear. They're walking around in the tent. The Sasquatch noticed that the military, one of the military guy has like this cut on his arm. He take his hand and he wave his hand over the wound, and it heals like that. So I think my whole being to connect with that Sasquatch is to bring back information. I had no idea. Now I knew that the Sasquatch can go in between dimensions, that they know vibration, but I didn't know that they had the ability to heal a human being. And it got me thinking, what if there was enough Sasquatch and a human was was dead or just died? Could they bring that human being back? So, and I've always wondered that. Do they have the ability to bring a human back from death?
That's a good question. If they just wave the hand and they have their abilities activated, apparently. It's the same with, I think we have it too, but ours are deactivated. I know there are now children being born that have, it's a code in our DNA, the codoms, which we have 64, and out of 64, only 20 are activated.
Mm,
And they are children that are being born with 22, 24, or 26 activated. And
yep,
they have done tests on these children, inject them with all sort of disease, cancer cell, and AIDS, and these children weren't affected. And
yep.
they was done at UCLA. They quote a quote of the school is that we are on the verge of calling this immortality. Now the question comes: what if all our DNA codes were connected, activated? I think maybe we for sure would have those capabilities too, of healing, flight, telepathic, telekinesis, all of it, you know. Um, so that is very interesting with the Sasquatch because yes, you have it around the world. They are, I know in Australia also they call it Yowie there, and then you have Siberia, you have the Yeti, and then yeah, in America, Bigfoot. So they're around the world. But
Hmm.
also, here's another thing that also pop up, and there's the information of I got seems like there's two section of them. You have the negative one and the good one, and
Hmm.
they're also very intelligent, telepathic. What I understand, which is the dogman.
Yeah.
Um, what can you tell us about the dogman?
I've encountered what we consider a dog man. And this was a military mission. And this has everything to do with knowing what's going to go on in the future. This particular technology does exist right now. I don't know if you watched the movie, the I think it's the Prodigy Report with Tom Cruise, how they can predict future crimes and stuff like that by going into the future and then stopping crime, um, watching future events, almost like Looking Glass, and then going and stopping it. So we have this technology. We saw this particular date that this dog man was going to be causing havoc on a family in Spain. So I don't know if you know about the military choppers. Well,
Uh,
these particular
sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, do you know about the technology that's in the black military choppers?
No, not specifically. No, the
Well, yeah. Well, this particular some of these choppers are used for like black op type projects. They can go from looking like a chopper. Well, I'm gonna just tell you, they can shapeshift. They can shapeshift. They can shapeshift from a triangle type craft into a helicopter. They can shapeshift into they can go back and forth. Um, I don't understand all of the capabilities of it, but I do know that they can shapeshift. So I get picked up into a black chopper, and it popped. It jumps with the technology into Spain, from America to Spain. Now, I already had orders that this dog man was going to be coming into this graveyard. So we knew about this family. Um, it was a grandfather. It was a grandfather. I got there before both. I got there before the dog man, and I got there before this family. I was already at this graveyard waiting for this family to show up. This is how time travel works. We know all about this stuff. So the family show up later, start to show up, and I can see them coming across the street. It was this old man, and I guess his daughter died. Well, the daughter had children that he was taking care of, and I think it was two teenagers and a young little girl. So the family come into the graveyard. They're standing over the gravesite and they're grieving. Okay, they're grieving. I look, and there's a brick walkway. There's a brick walkway. There's some bushes. Now, right on the brick walkway where the bushes is, there's a dog man. Okay, now he was in between transformation. This guy, he had on like a plaid shirt. He had curly hair, blue jeans, but his face, his eyes were like yellowish red. His teeth were protruding out of his mouth, um, and he had saliva dripping from his mouth. It looked like he was infected. in between transformation, infected, maybe one of the deep state type of projects. But he was definitely a dog man. So he walked over. He spot the family and began to walk over. So I began to walk towards the family before the dog man could get to him. And I told them the family spotted me and spotted the dog man at the same damn time. So I told them, don't run, get behind me. And I needed all of them to be like bunched together so that I can better protect them. So they did do this at first. So the dog man came up to me, and I'm in front, blocking him from the family. He wasn't interested in none of them except for the small little girl. Just like any predator, go after the smallest, weakest, and that's what he had his eyes on. True wolf, definition of a dog man, a predator. So he never minds me. He's not even looking at me. His eyes is on the little girl that's behind me. Well, the two teenagers, they take the fuck off. They, I don't mean to laugh, but they leave the grandfather and a little girl, the two teenagers. They run out of the grave. So I can't even think about them. So I'm trying to protect the little girl and the grandfather. So before the dog man can make a move, I switch. The military, I go into an altered state. And I know once this alter step forward, this version of me step back. That's when the super soldier come out. And I know once that happened, I eliminated that particular being. I don't consider that being a human. I consider that being a dog man. Whatever happened to this being, there was no coming back. I know that he had on the plaid shirt, the jeans, but he was a dog man. That was a dog man.
Okay, it seems like that was a negative one for sure. Have you encountered ones that are positive, but what I understand they also like restricted, they like on a reservation they keep to themselves because if people knew about them, they would go on hunt and kill them all. But like the ones that you encountered that was wanted to go for the little girl, that for sure is a negative one. Now it seems like there's different tribe of them.
Yeah,
Would you say that? So
yeah.
you
So
okay?
what's going on now with Earth because of the frequency? At first, I would say 4 or 5 years ago, you would not be able to see these beings. Now that mankind is coming into a frequency, a heightened frequency state, you're able to see these beings. So they can't hide anymore. And this information that's why people are starting to talk about this now because they are seeing these particular dogmen. So what the government is trying to do, they're trying to use AI to kind of slow down people from finding out. So if these videos that are coming out and they look more AI than real, people will be like, oh, okay, well, that's AI. They don't exist. They do exist. They are many different tribes of some of them are in inner earth. You have some behind the ice wall. Um, and there's giants behind the ice wall as well. And there's some here in very wooded areas, uh, like on top of Earth. There's some here. They are very good at being stealth. They can go get down on all fours, but they're more or less they're very comfortable both. They can do both. They can be on all fours or they can stand up. It all depends. Whenever they see a human, they want to be down on all fours. They don't want to be up right because it put a human in more fear. They're very big, more like a little bit bigger than the timber wolves. Um, but some people will see a timber wolf and think it's just a regular wolf. No, some of those are dog men as well because they can stand up. They can stand upright, and they will pretend to be um, like other wolves that we know of. They can pretend to be that, but they highly intelligent beings. They naturally are aggressive. Most of us have been canine beings in past lives. I've been a canine being in a past life. Um, yeah, maybe I can talk about that another time, or if you got time, I can talk about that. It does get a little graphic as far as sexual encounter with a Illuminati canine being, but if you want to save that for another time, or
Yeah, yeah,
you,
you can save it for another time. Yeah, the time fly. I see we are at 1 hour and 46 minutes already.
yeah,
Um, Let me see. I don't know. Anybody? Because last time I didn't. Because we passed the 2 hour mark. I don't know if anybody in the chat has questions. Can do a bit, few questions. Yeah, let me know. Let me see. Okay. I don't know. If you have a question, put it in all caps lock. Let me see. Oh, Andres says here, what do you think of the possibility of a dragon living under Las Vegas? Oh, I don't know about that. You heard anything
yeah,
about that? A
yeah.
dragon?
Yes. There have been talk about certain dragons being in certain locations, and they are under the control of the cabal. So the cabal know how to put these dragons in a long slumber. And these dragons, when they sleep, they can dream, and with their dreams, they manifest. Uh, they can manifest uh, here just because of their abilities, way faster than what we can. So the Masons, these adult cultists, uh, they get the dragons when they're asleep to manifest different things for them. It's almost like talking to a dragon's astral body when they're asleep, and they can control the dragon's magic through these dark spells that they have. Uh, the dragons really don't like going against humanity, but some of them they have nightmares, and when they begin to have nightmares, it's done through these magic spells, and they manifest bad things for um, not just mankind, but for the planet energy overall. So, yeah, is that my sister, my Andromeda sister, Andrea?
No, this is Andres Garazales. Okay.
I have a
Uh,
sister. I have an Andromedan sister named Andrea. Her
oh,
Andromeda. Her Andromeda name is Anna.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, you also had a past life in Andromeda?
Yeah, we lived on a ship, which she didn't like. She didn't
Uh,
like. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I heard that there's one person I know that Alex Collier, and he's a Andromeda contactee. I think he also talked about their ship. He went on their ship, and they can also manifest the same food that he eat in on Earth. And also they had that he went with them, I think, for a few months or years, and when they brought him back, was it few minutes after that they took him, so that's also with the 20 and back. But yeah, they're very positive, but I understand the Andromeda, and they're also working with the Arcturians and some
yeah,
like.
yeah. I was just getting ready to tell you, Alex, that my best friend, when I was in Drummond, he was Arcturian, and we would take missions together. We would do like scout the galaxy for reptilian activities, and his name is Higher Dimension. Yeah, he's Arcturian. He was my best friend um, there when he was Arcturian, and I was Andromedan.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. And you were working together?
Yeah, yeah. He found me here, just like my Andromedan sister found me here. She is the reason why all of you guys know me now because she pushed me uh, to speak out. She found me. I try to keep a low profile when I opened up the channel in the beginning. Um, I didn't know at the time she was my Andromedan sister. But once I began to read her energy and I saw her face, these visions came back. And then I started telling her more about herself. And then she began to remember.
Oh, that's cool. That you met your Andromeda sister on this planet since you two came here for a specific mission, you know. Um, yeah, and with the energy going up, I can see that by 2030, that planet's going to be much different, especially
Yeah,
in this 12 or 24 months that's coming, like from this year and next year, 2027, which is going to be an 11 year. So it's going to be a high, energetic, illuminating year with illuminating things that are in the dark, which has already started this year. I can see we having more with the UFO. That's also with the Epstein files, which is going to be linking to UFO
yeah,
and cloning. Also, there's another thing that's very foreign is with the cloning process with Hollywood
yep,
um, and so yeah, the Epstein's gonna be bringing a lot of things out, and I can see within 24 months we're gonna be having like it's gonna be mainstream with the ETs, because we've been visited and for a long time, and there's different ET section also in control, and some that are living on this planet under the ocean. I heard in the Caribbean itself there's a lot of underground facilities, you can say, that
mhm,
are completely run by ETs. And some of them are human and ETs run, but most of them are run completely by ETs. So it's interesting. Um, More and more, we live in a very interesting time, and I can see more and more information like this is going to be coming to the light. Um, yes, and let me see. Oh yeah. Uh, what's your information on the Ashtar comment?
I met Ashtar. Um, I like him. I like him. But I guess since you brought it up, I have to tell the whole story. Okay, give you a history of Astar. But first, I'll tell you when I met him. This was also maybe about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. Um, I went aboard Astar ship, and I met with him because I needed help. We needed help. I told you that I work with the Galactic Councils, and I needed to seek him out to speak with him about aiding us with certain things that were going on here, dealing with the cabal. And so I walked with him, and we was talking. Now, he's very psychic. I'm gonna tell you this. Normally, I don't have a problem like psychically connecting with many beings. So they let me in their mind, and I'll let them in my mind. So we know each other's true intent. But for some reason, he was blocking me. Like, he kept blocking me. He wouldn't let me get all the way in his mind. It was almost like how you and I are talking now. Like, that's how he kept it. Like, he wouldn't let me get all the way in his mind. So I read his energy, and he was loving, compassionate. He did block me. He did tell me that, at that time, he had to think about his crew. He had to think about his crew. And that was his first priority, that he couldn't really get too much involved at that time. And I understood. But as he's talking to me, there's a Lyran, a panther, sitting down, not too far from us where we're walking, and he's strapping up his boots. Now I'm hearing him telepathically saying that he don't want to help the humans, that he don't want nothing to do with us. And it was surprising to hear this from a Lyran, man. It was really, really surprising. But when you like really psychic, you're more you have more empathy, you have more compassion. So when I got back here into my body, because I left my body and I went out. I went out onto his craft and met with him. So when I got back into my body, I was a little bit pissed at the Lyran Panther being for saying that. And I'm like, mother effer, do you not understand that Lyra was blown up by the Dracos, and we have a reptilian problem? So a lot of my human emotions came back to me. But okay, now let's get into about the history of Astar. And it's no disrespect to Astar. So for the ones out there that's listening to me, you have to keep an open mind, okay? And be a little bit more compassionate of the information that I'm going to give to you. And Astar know that, I'm a straight shooter, so I'm going to tell it like it is. Astar is not light, he's not dark, he's in between. You can consider Commander Astar as who he say he is. He's a commander of a huge ship, and he has a lot of crew members. He does both. Okay, when you represent light and dark, you take on both types of mission. Okay, he will be considered a pirate. Now, when people hear the word pirate, they instantly think bad because of how the history was portraying the pirates are. The pirates are actually the good guys going up against the bad guys, going up against the rich bastards that are taking money from people. So that's pretty much what he is. He served both, but he chooses what he wants. So he has done things for Darkfleet. Okay, cargo, different types of cargo. He makes sure that these cargoes and the merchandise that are in these cargoes, they get to where they need to be. He's very sufficient in protecting cargo for his what he wants. There's certain goods that he get from different beings, and he also helped the positive galactic federations as well with protection and stuff like that and getting things done. He served both light and dark. Has he participated in taking humans and making sure that certain slaves uh, get to certain places safe? Yes, he's done that. He has taken slaves, um, which will be considered cargo, to certain places safely, so that they can, so that he can be paid for that. And it's never personal. It's never personal. He thinks of his and this is why I say this with all due respect for Commander Astar. I do have respect for him. I do know what he's been involved in. Um, and he does this, overall thinking about his crew, and he has a council too. Uh, he doesn't kill humans. He doesn't kill them. He doesn't harm them. He just take on certain things and make sure that um, he does his job well at what he does. But he's not a bad guy. He's not a good guy. He's both. He's both.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I've heard some good and negative, but this explains a lot of his how he is then.
So, so,
Thinking
so tell me what have you heard?
um, that he has done some dark stuff. Let me put it that way.
Yeah,
Specifically, I don't know, but he plays both sides. He plays both sides,
yeah,
and he is not really to be trusted. Let me put it that way. There's another one. This one I heard tried to, I think in the 50s, he came and he worked with the US government. He looks young, he doesn't age, and he still works. He has also his own ship, and he still work. I think he worked also with the Galactic Federation. And last I heard, he was in an explosion. Something happened to him that he went into intensive care, but he's still alive. And he's also like a commander. Have you heard of Valiant Thor?
yes. I don't think
Uh,
I've ever met him. Maybe I should put the intent. You saying that happened to Valiant Thor? He's in critical.
yeah, he was hurt in a battle, and that but he's recovering. Yeah,
Okay.
he's recovering. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you never met him, but have
No.
you heard of him?
Yeah, I've heard things from other people about Valiant Thor. Uh, like I would consider him being like an ambassador when he comes here and he speaks to like what is this place? What is this? What are all these countries coming together? What they call that?
The United Nation?
Yes, yes, the United Nations. You have to forgive me. I work. I don't get a lot of sleep, man, and it's hard sometimes for me to process things when I'm very tired. But yes, so you'll have a human element, human and ET element that discuss um, certain things. But he goes. There's another section that's pretty much OT related stuff that does not have to and there's no human elements. If there's human elements, because they hold higher uh, ET genetics when they go to this other meeting. Now, these particular meetings are not held where the public can hear about it or see about it, but it's pretty much the same thing, where many ambassadors from other planets, they come here to discuss certain things. Um, and it has to do with some of it has to do with human development, um, certain timelines, and and some of it has to do with things that they need for their human or ET societies that we can offer them as well. But nevertheless, mankind need to start seeing themselves as higher beings as well, and we need to be brought into these particular meetings on a global level. Now, I do understand that not a lot of human beings here are going to understand it the way that you and I understand it, or the way that the people that's on our channel understand this type of information. Now, when you go out there in human society and start talking about this, a lot of people don't understand it. It's because some of them are still programmed. And this is why I say they can relate to the Epstein stuff, because it's going to hit on all of these levels. Okay, and if it's coming from the government, which they so believe in, if it's coming from them, then they will feel like it's legit. Okay, so we're going to need the Epstein's files to be redacted and it released to the human population. And I know that they're going to do it in stages, because if they get into like the reptilian stuff, they get into like the slave colonies on planet and off planet, the cannibalism, and what's in the human food. Like, we are participating in cannibalism. There's human meat in supermarkets that we think are animal products. They are not. They have a percentage of animal products, but some of that is human meat. And they are growing genetically modified meat, um, and it's being grown with human genetics. So,
Oh, oh
yeah,
yeah, and by eating that, it will lower your frequency, maybe also
yes.
tamper with your DNA. Or with this information now, people, I knew this a long time ago already. That's why I don't eat like junk food, but I knew about McDonald's meat having human meat
Yeah.
DNA in it. And now that information is coming out too, with even KFC, they put it in their advertisement too. Saw a KFC advertisement that they're very weird, and the guy goes in, dip himself into like oil, and then the woman dip him, and then he came out as a chicken, like they put him there in the advertisement. Yeah,
I don't mean,
it,
yeah, I don't mean to laugh, man, but yeah, they put that crap right in your face, bro.
yeah, man. Yeah, and a lot of people think it's just, yeah. No, but that's the thing. They put it also for people to laugh. Oh, look, it's a joke, but it's yeah. The behind it is real, but yeah, they think it's yeah. they wouldn't think they would do that. That's the problem. A lot of people don't. They they think they're those people in control. I like them, but they don't have that empathy, compassion towards human. They're completely different, and there's a lot of people are gonna be understand. In the past, like more than 10 years ago, I had a lot of problems with, when I'm speaking about the reptilians. People think as, oh no, it's only the reptilian part of the brain that is what is triggering them. Maybe that will be a part so, but you have real reptilian beings, some that, yeah, they have frequency, they look human, but they're not, and some
Yeah,
people see them through the third eye, but all of that is, and they put it a lot of in movies too, and I see a lot of people going back and checking movie, oh, look, with, Vril, and even the one that's called They Live, with the
yep,
guy put the sunglasses on. So yeah, we live in a very interesting time, and yeah, I'm pretty sure the Epstein is going to come in stages, and it's going to for because if it came in one time, I don't know if people would handle it. I think everything around the world would fall one time because most of the people in position, high position, all are on it.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so I do expect big changes and uprising to happen this year, as it is in each horse year cycle, which is a cycle of 60 years. Always something big happen with earthquake, uprising, civil rights, all that. And I can see more now people gonna go on the street because of the children, and
Hmm.
also in America there's a lot of children get go missing without a trace each year. They don't know where it goes, but they go to an underground network, which is the adrenochrome or slaves, sex slave, or all those things. And then you have the planets also that they move to other planets. So, but I think step for step we will gonna get there. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And yeah, but yeah, I have a few other things, a list of other things, but yeah, the time fly, and yeah, I'm gonna leave it till here. In the future, we do a part three.
Yeah,
Um, there's anything you want to close it out?
yeah. I always want to leave on a positive note. I just want your viewers and the world, whoever watched this video, to understand that no matter what you see, whether it be negative or not, um, once you begin to understand who you are as a spiritual being, nothing can trump who you are on a spiritual level. You guys are powerful. Your children are powerful, and everybody will wake up in their time. Just know that God has already foresaw a lot of the things happening, and you will become stronger. Just believe in yourself and keep going. Be the best version of yourself while you're still here.
No, that's awesome. That's a good, yeah, good information, good motivation, actually. Yeah. Yeah, stay strong, everybody, and everything is going in divine time and in order, and it's gonna come good. Yeah, no, thanks, Rock Cloud, for sharing a lot of information. And yeah, I will in the future we'll catch up because I'm pretty sure in this oncoming months, a lot is going to be happening. There, there's a planet alignment in, I think, in April and in July, and then America completed 250 year cycle in beginning of July. So yeah, I do expect a lot of things to happen in this oncoming months. So yeah, we'll do a part three in the future, and hopefully we have more information, more positive with the awakening, more information coming out. Um,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah. No, well, yeah. Thanks everybody, and yeah, I will. Yeah, till next time. Much love and blessing.
All right. Take care. Love you guys.